But let's go straight to the markets for now. The JSE tracking global markets into firmer territory this morning, with gold and Bitcoin hitting record highs. For more on these and other market developments, we are joined by the founder of JustOneLap, Simon Brown. Simon, good morning. Gold holding on the gains of the past few months, and it has now hit record highs. Tell us more about that and how the local and global markets are doing this morning.
Morning, Imam. Yeah, gold, $2,185.50 an ounce. As you said, this is an absolute all-time high. Some 20 years ago, gold was trading at about $280. So it's up 10x over a 20-year period, of course. What's driving it is just generally concerns. We've got wars in the Middle East and Europe. We've got a lot of elections happening the world over. Worries about when do interest rates around the world start to come down. Is inflation really beaten? All those things are just pushing gold higher at this point. And truthfully, it looks like it can carry on going. A lot of experts I'm speaking to are saying $2,500 look quite possible for that. So good morning for gold. Brent a little weaker, 81.94. The PGM's a little weaker over the weekend, 921 for platinum. Palladium, $1,030 an ounce. On the currencies, mostly stronger for the rand, 18.74 against the dollar, 20.50 against sterling, and then also against euro, 24.808 against the sterling.
And if you have it, then I guess the wisdom is, hang on to the family jewelry, especially if it is gold-based, Simon. Well, let's talk about crypto now, and Bitcoin reaching $70,000 for the first time. What's the significance of this for global stocks?
Yeah, so Bitcoin's an interesting one. 70,000 is an all-time high. The previous had been 69,000. It touched that last week and then collapsed to 59,000 before now, as you say, running back to 70,000, making an all-time high. It's interesting because, gold, as you say, we can make jewelry from it. We can put it in the AI chips that are, powering things such as ChatGPT and the like. Bitcoin, a whole different, it's more a risk-on asset, and it's the world saying, we want risk, we like the risk. We've seen a lot of big moves in the Magnificent Seven and tech stocks the world over. Japan trading at all-time highs in the first time in, 30-odd years there, 35 years for that new all-time high. So we're really getting a lot of excitement, and a lot of it is driven by that FOMO, that fear of missing out. The new ETFs, which launched in America, 11 of them covering Bitcoin back in January. What it does do, to directly answer to the question, it takes some money out of the equity market. You've got a finite amount of cash looking to invest. If some of it's going into Bitcoin, it's not going into equity markets. But the numbers are fairly small. I mean, the money flowing into the ETFs, Bitcoin ETFs, about $70 billion. That's a lot for you, I, and the listeners. But in the investment world, you've got Apple, Nvidia at $2 trillion, Apple and Microsoft at $3 trillion each a stock. It's not that big a number yet.
Yeah, really interesting moves there. Well, let's take it back to brick and mortar, Simon. The Absa Group saying elections, load shedding, and a range of other issues fueling uncertainty this year. So how did Absa perform in the full year results?
I have to say, poorly. They saw their headline earnings per share up only 1%. For reference, on Friday, Capitec said they were expecting 16 or 18%. Different beasts, but still a much bigger number. We've seen much better results out of First Rand. We've also seen really good numbers out of Nedbank. We'll get Standard Bank in about a week, and they've telegraphed a much better expected set of results. So Absa's finding it really tough in that particular space. The market has taken them down some 2.5%. They have got their operations in the rest of the African continent. Those are doing fairly well. We kind of expected that. We've seen the same from Standard Bank in their trading update. But Absa at this point really is a lagger, and a fairly significant decrease, almost a 20% decrease in the dividend. Markets, as I say, not liking that at all.
Some interesting moves for our next corporate focus, Quantum Foods, telling its shareholders about Country Bird acquiring over 15% shares on issue. What's happening there, and could this be the start of a possible takeover?
It absolutely could. What we saw is Astro, who of course is a competitor in this space as well. They had acquired the stake in Quantum a year and some time ago. I've got to quickly check back. Almost 4 years ago they had acquired the stake. That had got a lot of interest if Astro would perhaps make an offer. They've now sold it to Country Bird. That got the market very excited. The stock was it doubled in value last week at 1.120% higher off previous levels. Question is, if Country Bird wants to try and take control of Quantum, is the Competition Commission going to allow it? Now, they're smaller players in the chicken space, which in of itself is a very fragmented market. We've got some big players, but mostly it's the sort of small and in many cases the very, very small micro farmers. I don't know that they would get it past the competition authorities. So this might more than anything be Country Bird blocking it so that no one else can take it over and try and get that bulk rather than them looking to potentially take over Quantum Food Holdings.
Well, let's talk about people moving now, and Anglo Gold Ashanti announcing the retirement of board chairperson Maria Ramos. How's this news been received by the market, Simon?
The market didn't seem to mind too much, and of course Anglo Gold Ashanti being helped quite significantly by the improving gold price. I was surprised by her departure. She's only been there 5 years. She's only been chair of the board for 4 years. She's independent, non-executive. I think there is a time limit on that, but I got to say, I think the time limit is 10 years. But maybe it is Maria Ramos just sort of winding down her career. She's in her mid-60s. She might be taking the view, let's spend some time, let's enjoy some retirement. She's obviously, she's worked in Treasury, she's worked at Transnet, she's been at Absa as well. She's still on the Richmond board. This might just be more than anything, it's just reducing some of her corporate responsibilities and doing what we all hope to do as we get older, is actually spend some time in retirement and enjoy the other part of life.
All right, Simon Brown, as always, thank you very much for sharing your view and mirroring what the market is saying to us this morning. We'll continue to talk markets same time tomorrow.